But let's get started. It's great to see you guys. So much have happened since gosh. All right, here we go.
Hey, keep that in, Kyle. Just start over.
Hey folks, this video is brought to you by RivianStories.com. Please join us there to stay up to date with all the latest Rivian news and chat with other Rivian owners. And if you need a t-shirt or sweatshirt, please check out our shop. Thanks so much for watching here on YouTube. Please do like and subscribe to help us get the word out about Rivian. It is good to see you. So much has happened since we've recorded an episode that sometimes is hard or difficult for me to remember where we even left off. I do have a handful of things that I want to put out there for the audience, just so that you know what's coming, if you want to know what's ahead, because we will just release this in one segment. We've got Jimmy's delivery. We've got some news there. We've got news from a ton of RS family people who've already taken delivery or are right in the middle of it. We've got Limestone news. We have R1S speculations. We have new communications coming from Rivian every Friday. We have meetups that are happening within the RS family. We had a ton of videos that are coming out from everywhere. We want to tip our hat to Kyle from Out of Spec. And then a lot more. But that's what we're going to try and cover today. So thanks for being here with me, guys. It's good to talk to you. Jimmy, you're the star of the show. You're the lead story. I'm going to take it over to the little screen here. You posted March 24th that you have an updated delivery date. Congratulations. I hate you, but I love Nikki, so it'll all work. Everyone who had placed their side bets about which one of us three, Skylar and I always said that it would be Rivian's favorite child, and it is. So tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and take it away with some reaction.
What I'm thinking and feeling, I'm ready to be home. Because I know that the sooner I'm home, the sooner we take delivery. Mm-hmm. But it was a whirlwind last week. I was so excited slash anxious. I was not expecting the buyer's agreement, let alone signing the buyer's agreement as I was walking to breakfast, to turn around and get to 8 steps like right away. I wasn't prepared. It was exciting, yeah. So we tried for the 2nd of April, and they couldn't make it happen. They really, actually, to your point, Skylar, that talking offline, they really wanted us to take delivery this week. But I've waited way too long for this baby, to have Nikki take delivery without me. So the earliest they could do was 5 p.m. on the 4th. We are really looking forward to this.
I'll ask you a quick follow-up on the second follow-up on like just the 8 steps, and I think that's gone pretty smooth, and it's not going to be a long answer, but I want to come back around to Skylar on this. And you said end of quarter push is what you thought. Tell us what you mean to the audience.
Yeah, well, Rivian has produced a lot of trucks, and they want to get them into hands of customers as soon as possible. But part of that is also driven by trying to get those deliveries in by the end of their fiscal quarter, which is the end of the month, the end of March.
Yep. Exactly. So smooth, Jimmy, as far as the 8 steps?
There's some things that are definitely quirky. Talking with you guys and some of the others in the community, thankfully our trade-in value for what they're giving us on our Bolt was actually in the positive, even more so than what we paid for it when we bought it back in July. But the way that they bury the lead, I guess is the way to say it. They don't. You would expect in big, bold font the total amount that they're going to give me for the trade-in itself, not in big, bold font. It's what the number is net my trade-in. So at a quick glance, it looks like they were only giving me $2,900 for my Bolt, and I was like, guess we're going to Carvana. After a couple breaths and looking at it again, and with the help of a guide, kind of squared away that it was actually way more than we were expecting, and so we are trading in the Bolt through Rivian. The other thing that I thought was weird, and I think this has been talked about on RS quite a bit, is Rivian requires you to get insurance, to get insurance and to have that VIN on your insurance card already. So I am currently carrying a policy on a truck that is not mine, which is kind of weird. In the state of Florida, and I think in a lot of states around the country, I don't have to carry insurance for 30 days. As long as I carry insurance, period, I'm covered. But Rivian wants to see an insurance card with that VIN on it.
Yeah, interesting.
That is interesting, Jimmy. I've never had to do that here in Texas, at least. So when I purchase vehicles, you have to show them your current insurance card, but the vehicle you're buying does not have to be on it.
Right. And they wanted you to upload an insurance card with my Rivian VIN on it into the 8 steps. I definitely recommend, and I will say this, and I don't think this has been talked about at all, but the 8 steps, do that from your cell phone. Don't do it from a laptop. Don't do it from, because what's super convenient, and I didn't get any screenshots because I was so excited about this whole process, and I apologize to you guys and everybody else. But there's like camera buttons built into the app. So as you're going to the 8 stops, you hit take picture, and it's like, are you pulling it from the photo gallery, or are you going to take a picture of it right now? So that came in really handy. And I suggest don't be deployed to Virginia while your wife is in Florida, because that just makes things even more difficult. And it wasn't, the steps weren't difficult. It just, the excitement and the anxiousness of realizing we were so close. And again, like I said, I'm in Virginia, Nikki's in Florida. And she had a busy Wednesday, I believe it was, or Tuesday. I don't remember now, whatever day that was. I was ready to get this information like now. I need pictures I need the picture of the front of your driver's license, the back of your driver's license. I need the registration for the Bolt. I need, all of this stuff. And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen in the time that I wanted. So I just had to take just run laps around the hotel a couple times just to kind of calm down.
Well, it is super cool. I also thought of another thing that people might be asking, like, oh, what was his delivery window? So if you're just now tuning in, Jimmy's delivery window was March, April. So he's right smack dab in the middle of it, right on time, which is nice to hear for sure. Be in the truck ahead of the SUV helps him out as far as up against Skylar and myself. But it's great to know that there's plenty of people getting out on time. That segues into my next thing here, as far as there are several people inside the RS family community here that have taken delivery, that are right in the middle of the 8 steps. And so there's just a lot going on here. And so, I mean, geez, just look at all this. I mean, it's crazy how much the feed is changing over in the RS community, and that's definitely welcome. So we do invite you all to come over here just to keep up to date. A lot of great information, and just a lot of, I guess what I'm saying is a lot of wins, a lot of reasons to celebrate with others. And so it's been exciting after all these years to see so many people taking delivery.
Something I wanted to say, because there's been some chatter in the forums about this, or at least in RS, I can't speak. I don't know for sure that this is going on, but I have a really good idea that what we're seeing happening is they're batch building, and they're building hundreds and hundreds of trucks in whatever configuration. They don't care. They didn't build Jimmy's truck, Jimmy and Nikki's, excuse me. They didn't build Jimmy and Nikki's truck. They didn't build Sid Hall's truck, and some of our other members who have received their trucks recently, Jazzy Jeff, for instance, as well. Like, they built a truck, and then they are dispersing these trucks throughout the country. And then from that point, they are matching our configuration to that truck and then making the delivery happen.
To that theory, Jimmy, that's why some people who pre-ordered last February, like 14 months ago or 13 months ago, can be getting a call now before someone else. It's not Rivian playing favorites or anything like that. It's just it's just the logistics of trying to deliver 70,000 vehicles the next couple years.
And one thing that I do think that we'll see in that regard, Kyle and Jimmy and audience, is that once Rivian does get a little bit more mature, not only with their production capabilities, but also their logistics efforts, I do feel like it will become more kind of where they will build to specific orders and then ship them where they go, if that makes sense. But right now, yeah, they are building, a number of like or similar trucks, like all Black Mountain interior so far, and they're definitely batching things.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to move us on to the next topic because we got to keep this show going. Limestone. I mean, hello. This was huge, and now it's a little bit old. But Rivian official, of course, a week ago, posted some pics of Limestone. I linked to it here. We've got the official pics here. Before that point, us three had seen some pictures, and we kept it under wraps, but we had some conversation and some fun, especially with RS backers. I'd love to show you that conversation, but that's just privy to backers. We had some great graphics from people with dolphins and wheels, and it was hilarious. But I'm going to kick this over to you, Skylar, because you have had Limestone actually configured either several times or for an extended period of time. Tell me your reactions on Limestone here and where your head is at right now with Limestone.
Yes. So first and foremost, I'm going to tell people to be careful with the pictures that they are interpreting as Limestone. So the Rivian official pictures are actually good. You'll notice that none of those have, a significant blue tone to them. And that's the number one thing. It looks like a lot of the cell phone pictures and especially iPhone pictures are making it look like a powder blue color. And there's enough good pictures out there to demonstrate that it is not a powder blue color. It is a neutral gray. It does have just a hint of green. Now, granted, you may catch a little bit of reflection from a blue sky that, might make it look a little bit blue from certain angles, but it is actually a lighter gray than what I was expecting. And granted, it can look darker in the shade, but I love it, but I also love glacier white. And the other thing, and I've even posted this a couple of times on the site, but people are asking me, we put up that poll, or I put up that poll saying, all right, guys, I'm torn. Should I do glacier white or should I do Limestone? And it is around 400 votes in that poll now. And it's still literally it was even at multiple points, up until it got up over 300 votes, which is crazy. So the community helped me 0% with that decision. The other thing that I'll say is I am leaning in a certain direction, but I'm not even going to share it with you guys. It's going to be a surprise for everybody come delivery day.
Nice. Oh man, I just lost my spot, but there's a post that just came today with some Limestone pics from a service center that I thought did a good job as far as phone pics and whatnot, not going too much towards that baby blue.
Yeah, and there's another one that that Dave Lee posted on the site a while back, where he took a picture with his iPhone and he took a picture with his Nikon digital SLR camera. And the difference between those two pictures under the exact same environmental conditions were absolutely crazy. Like, that is the iPhone picture. And there was a color corrected one that somebody did, but I think that there's the DSLR picture
Right here. Yeah.
And multiple people have commented and said that the SLR picture is what they experienced in real life seeing it. So there's the neutral gray versus the robin egg blue that people are getting from cell phones.
Right. And I left a comment, on this morning's post, which I just showed, but I've kind of lost it now, that, being around photography for a while, like, your iPhone just does all kinds of processing in the image itself, and it's really going to push saturation quite a bit, even contrast, which is really going to overbake the colors that are in there. Natural life, it's going to overcook it. So this is good, because I hadn't even seen this one yet.
I will say, if it was kind of more blue like that, Limestone would have been hard out for me. Like, absolutely no.
Yeah. So with that, Skylar, I'm not going to push too much more on you to get you to give us a hint here. But I will say, just to embolden and underline what you said about mostly neutral with a hint of green, you've had conversations with very reputable people that have said no baby blue in person, just a hint of green from Rivian, right?
No, absolutely zero blue in the paint.
Yeah. All right. Case settled. Well, Jimmy, what do you think he's going to do? Limestone or glacier white? Yeah.
So actually, I want a prediction from both of you guys. So actually, I want you to answer it two ways. What do you think I should do? And what do you think I'll do?
I think, do you want to go first or you want me to go?
Go ahead, Kyle.
I think you're going to do limestone, and I think you should do limestone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think you want to do limestone, but you're going to play it safe, and you're going to go glacier white.
So what should I do, though, Jimmy?
Go with whatever your bride says.
Actually, that's probably the most appropriate should answer ever.
Have you shown your bride limestone yet?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
And what did Sheila say?
Not a lot of feedback, honestly. And I don't think I'm going to tell her either.
Dang it.
There's the Photoshop that you did for me. Thank you, Kyle.
So this is a Photoshop done specifically from from this picture and from this one here. And actually, I drug those pictures on the actual image, and I kind of took an average. But man, I mean, I think it looks sharp for sure. It might even be a little bit more neutral than this is showing. But you are also around a lot of green here. I mean, these pictures are chameleons. They do pick up a lot of the environment, so that's one reason I went towards green in this image. I think that overall it would kind of look more like this in this environment. But it is what it is.
Except there's no way mine would be anywhere near that shiny.
That's one thing, because I took this obviously from a Rivian Blue SUV, and that's going to reflect have a lot reflected. It's hard in Photoshop to all of a sudden make this a lot more matte than it is without it then looking like very Photoshopped, like what happened here. It lost all its texture, That's
like
hard.
what Rivian did.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's funny to say, you know. I mean, you compare the real limestone to that photoshopped. Oof.
Night and day.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
El Cap, I saw in that picture. To come back here, like, let's see here, El Cap to the left, and then Limestone, and then LA Silver, and I'm just finally happy to be pretty set on El Cap, you know, personally. It's awesome. I think it's going to look great on the SUV, and what I'm not going to tell you guys is what wheel I'm going to end up getting. So.
Ooh. I think I know.
I'm in between, you know, the 20s and then the 22 Brights. Is what I'm in between. What do you guys think I should do, and what do you think I will do?
So I think you should still go with the 20s, but I think you will go with the 22s.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, final answer.
Well,
And I think you just gave yourself away.
No, my final answer is going to surprise you. I've got a surprise up my sleeve.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, until they fix some of those potholes, just be careful.
Yeah. That's one thing I think. I think people are underselling just how much the 22s can do, though. I've gone back into the thing, and, you know, it's fine going through some dirt trails and stuff like that. You're just not going to take it over anything crazy. But, yeah, I'll leave it at that, and I'll explain myself when we get to it.
I do think that the 22s will look better, in my opinion, on the SUV than they do on the truck. Even though, like, with darker colors on the truck, I like the 22s also, you know? But I feel like they fit the SUV better, and I feel like they'll look really, really good with El Cap. So I'm excited for you, Kyle.
Yeah, they will look really good with El Cap for sure. As far as just overall synergy, that's what I give it to. Yep. How long until we can get 2 sets? An extra set.
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
That
final
might be
answer.
a while.
That's my final answer. And I go on to the next one here. It brings me to just the R1S. The T deserves a lot of attention. It deserves a lot more. It's an amazing vehicle. But in the meantime, half the planet has ordered the S, or maybe even more than half the planet. And so some people are getting, not antsy, but just like wondering. People are antsy for R1S media from Rivian for sure. Like a post, the inside story of the R1S, just some pictures and all that kind of stuff. They're definitely antsy for that. And then, you know, plenty of people have been asking, you know, about like updates on the R1S. We have had a few, like Dan had posted that he got an email that'll get this going pretty soon. So can you guys just give me some reactions on where we're at with the R1S and what we can expect? A lot of people are asking it.
From the chatter on RS, there's going to be a big delivery event going on at the factory in Normal on the 31st. And I would stand to bet, guess, whatever, that there's going to be a small handful of R1S deliveries with black mount interiors. They're at the factory. They're at the factory on the 31st.
Now, Jimmy, does anyone from Rivian realize that I live 60 minutes away?
I'm sorry, who are you?
I mean, I don't care if I'm not getting mine, but if they're going to have a Rivian event at the factory, I mean, I told Michael he's got to pick me up on the way. Somewhere I told him in one of these comments. Here we go. Did they tell you to pick up Kyle Schultz on the way?
Correct.
But anyway, keep going, keep going.
No, I think that you are being passed over simply because you're Ocean Coast. But I think from the standpoint of getting the monkey off the back for for R1S or for the R1S, they've got to deliver some, whether that's a dozen, or 15, I mean,
This
right
quarter?
right now they're still at 2, that we're aware of. And they had said, what was it? They said they were planning on delivering 15 this quarter. Was that this quarter, correct? That they were going to, I remember my joke, 3 more than a dozen.
Oh, yeah. But that was...
So that was in December, but I think that was going to be for the upcoming. Maybe
I thought that was even by the end of last year. 3 more than a dozen.
And maybe that's what it was, but I mean, they've got to get 3 more than a dozen by the 31st, I think, in order to get this monkey off their back as far as some of the questions. So 1 from us as pre-order holders and 2 from the investors. They're not. Again, we only know of 2. I don't know of any other people that have taken delivery other than Claire and RJ.
So we know that they are building them. We know that R1Ss have been seen in and around the factory. We don't have numbers around how many have been built. And I know that certain people have been told that R1S deliveries have been going on. Now, are those 2 employees? Are all the first deliveries, at least in the short term, going to be to employees? Maybe. We do know that employees are not getting the same early adopter program for the R1S that they did with the R1T. But yeah, I feel like R1S, more than those 2 deliveries, have already happened. And I think expecting deliveries at the factory event on the 31st might be a little bit bold, but I would be willing to guess that there will be R1S there for people to see at that event.
Let's not get too much into production, but keeping it with R1S. And then another thing that's come up with production is that it's all been Black Mountain, Black Mountain, Black Mountain. There's been a lot of conflicting information on if Ocean Coast is delayed or not, meaning if you would switch from Ocean Coast to Black Mountain, would you get it earlier or later? And I know that some of that's like, well, Black Mountain for quarter 3, and then maybe you're back on track. I personally think that, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And Skylar, I know that you had mentioned, let's see. Jimmy says, switch to Black Mountain, Schulte, you'll get it sooner. Skylar's like, just chill out. I think that I'm more just going to chill out because I wouldn't want to hear from my guide that if you move up or if you go to Black Mountain, you're going to move up. And I haven't. And just for the record, I haven't heard anything from my guide. In fact, if it weren't for meeting my guide, I wouldn't know who my guide is, as far as just meeting at the First Mile event. So I haven't gotten any communication from Rivian at all. What do you guys think?
I'll jump in first on that one. So I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe that Ocean Coast interiors will be delayed. So even March, April people that have Ocean Coast have been told that their deliveries are still on schedule. So that could just be some of the batch building and what they're doing in production at certain points in time. Yeah. So that's my thought. The other thing that I'll bring up, especially as it relates to R1S, is R1S is different, and the second row seat is different, and obviously the R1S has a third row that the R1T does not. So yeah, the front seats and like the door trim and whatnot, all of that stuff is going to be the same, but I mean, it could be a completely different ball game with R1S as well.
It's just the front door trim that's the same, not the back, not the rear passenger doors. Those aren't even the same.
Right, because the doors are shaped different.
Right, because the wheelbase is different. So I mean, you're not. It's not a flip of a switch in order to change that process. And as far as manufacturing goes,
the other thing that we know, at least from our tracker results, is over half of the configurations, the interior is Black Mountain. So build the highest volume, and then that gives them the flexibility to kind of shuffle these vehicles around like they have to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kyle, I think you need to add a little bit of a personal touch since you are Ocean Coast.
and you are within 60 miles of the factory.
Yeah.
And you are here in just a couple of days in the last month of your delivery window.
And you are as early of a pre-order holder as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And smart and good looking, and God darn it, people like you.
I was just checking my messages over on RS because I've had a lot of, the private messages that we got, and I've had several, meaning like a dozen people at least, send me a private message saying, "Hey, have you heard? Are you in your PBA? Have you heard?" I'm like, "I haven't heard anything. I've heard nothing." And they're all like, "What? You got to be kidding me." Because they know I'm November 2018, that I'm 60 miles from the factory, blah, blah, blah. I mean, my configurator's still at the high price. I mean, it's March 28th right now, as the time of this recording. My configurator's still post March 1st, and I haven't heard anything. I think, and my gut feeling as far as a personal reaction at this point is that I will get contacted in April to take delivery of an L cap with Ocean Coast interior. And then it won't be some big delay, like you can take that and it's like 6 weeks out. It'd still be like, as soon as we can get all this stuff done, you can take it. But maybe that's just wishful thinking, It definitely could be. If I was contacted by a guide saying you can switch, if you switch to Black Mountain, you'd be moved up, I just ask, like, you got to tell me how. You got to tell me how much, because if it's 5 or 6 months, then we're talking about something different than if it's 6 weeks. I mean, at this point, you've waited so long. And the bottom line is, like, to me, L cap with the light interior is just such a great combo. So this is the one I want. I'm willing to wait a little bit longer. But right now, I just expect that they're actually pretty close to pulling this off. I've been told otherwise, And if it is otherwise, I want someone to contact me and communicate that you're thinking the wrong thing here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say this. This is directly at Rivian for you folks at Rivian that are watching. There are quite a few pre-order holders with Ocean Coast, very early pre-order holders like 2018, who would be willing to switch to Black Mountain, but haven't been reached out to be asked the question as well on the R1T side, not on the R1S, but on the R1T side. Check those folks out. I mean, you probably could pad that Q1 number even more if you just ask the right people, because they want to switch.
And I will say, my R1S does have Black Mountain interior, so if that's an issue whatsoever, deliver mine before Kyle's. I'll come get it. And then you won't have to worry about doing the R1S interior story, Rivian. I'll take care of it. Done.
Don't mention that, Skylar, because now you're going to get an email inviting you to this special event in Normal on March 31st, and you're going to get your delivery, and Kyle's going to be here standing on Chili Witch. So
I will clear my calendar.
yeah. Which is funny. I mean, if we go back to the screen here, when Michael was asking, I missed a guide call today, and she left me a voicemail about this event. What should I do? And here was Jimmy's response. You don't ask questions. You say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You wear a button-up shirt, slacks, and comb your hair. That's what you do. Yep, which I agree. Hey, so I'm going to steer us to the next one here. Along with the whole pricing fiasco, one thing that came out of that as far as rebuilding trust was that we actually have to see some changes with communication. There's been 3 Fridays that have passed since then. We've gotten an email every Friday. It's been signed by a buddy of ours, Tony Caravano. And even last Friday, the subject was your Friday update, so almost saying here's a new cadence for us. So that is nice to see. We just wanted to acknowledge that and tip our hats to Rivian at this point for just some consistent communication. It's great to see a little bit change there. Anything you want to add to that?
They've also been busy on the socials. They're putting things out there a lot more in general, which is good. I mean, better late than never.
Yep. The last update from Tony mentioned that we would be seeing pre-March 1st prices this week in the configurator. I checked mine this morning. It was still the same, but that's fine. Some people got a second little message from that, right? Which is that they would know when they would be assigned a guide. Or was it something else? It was something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was basically expect a guide call or a guide email or guide introduction, however they worded it, this week.
Okay. Yeah, mine was just
first week of April, I believe, Jimmy.
Is that
week of April 4th?
I didn't get the email. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm going off of.
I didn't either, but I think it's that first week of April.
Gotcha.
My email was just that I'd see the new configuration or the updated configuration with the old pricing. I didn't see anything about anything.
Yeah, that's what mine said too.
Yep, and we'd still love to get some folks from Rivian onto some of our episodes and into the community for sure. So we still keep just throwing out that invitation. You guys are always welcome to come chat with us. Speaking of community and updates and stuff, I'm going to switch over to one thing. One thing that we're excited about that has started to happen is local meetups of RS community members at local events, just initiated by RS community and actual in-flesh powwows. So Jimmy, you attended one in your time up in Virginia. Our friend Conundrum posted one. He took a lot of great pictures, and this was Sid kind of had an event. There's been a few events now. Events meaning meetups, and I think this is super cool. Jimmy, how did yours go? And what can we do to kind of encourage more of this to happen? Because this is kind of our dream for Rivian Stories, that people would meet up and take adventures together, answer questions, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I got an email or a DM rather within RS to hang out. We ended up hanging out last week there in Virginia Beach, and it was great just to get to meet everyone. They all knew me. Some names I recognized just because they do post some, and some are on the site, but don't post as frequent or post at all, which is fine. But it was just a good time of chatting about Limestone. It's funny that literally that day was the day that I got my 8 steps in the PBA. So it was cool to be able to share that with everybody. And we had a great time talking all things Rivian and EV experiences, what our backgrounds were with EVs prior to Rivian, if we had it. We had a good time just hanging out, chatting. We were there till, I guess, just shy of 9 o'clock. So I had a good 3 hours of just fellowship among fellow Rivian printer holders, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I got the wrong post here. This is actually at the service center, but I think
Yeah.
Conundrum posted another one from like he was with Sid and a few other guys, right?
Right. Yeah. That was the Cars and Coffee like the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Funny story about this guy. He has our T-shirt on here, which we thought was super awesome. And Conundrum went up and said, "Hey, Rivian Stories," and I think he was like, "What?" Yeah, which is awesome.
Somebody bought it for him. Yeah, that was also another December delivery that didn't show up in any of the forums or enthusiast sites or in the socials. Like, this stuff happens, people.
Yeah. These are being delivered to normal people who aren't idiots. Yeah, there's going to be more people just saying, "Hey, I got my truck, I got my SUV, I'm going to be here on this date at this time. Come hang out with us." That's already happening. We've seen it happen a few times now, and it's been fun. People have really enjoyed it. The other thing that, Jimmy, you've been working on quite a bit is forming groups within the RS community online to where we have regions. And that'll be a moving target as more people get it. And as we grow more and more, we'll figure it out. But there's also stuff happening on the Rivian Story site where people are just forming relationships in online first too, just from people in their neck of the woods. And that's cool because it doesn't have to be an event, but you might know someone 45 minutes up the road. They get there and you've been messaging them, and they're going to drive past your town in 3 weeks, and they stop by for 15 minutes to show you the truck, which there's a lot of benefit from how we have it set up there. And so that's fun. The last thing that I had, guys, is that we had two members, John and Miguel. They had an awesome, the pleasure of meeting Kyle from Out of Spec. So Kyle from Out of Spec has 2 YouTube channels, and he has had a Rivian R1T for a week, and he put it through everything imaginable and just did a phenomenal job. And we wanted to give a huge, not even a tip of the hat, hats off to Kyle of Out of Spec for making amazing content that was very informative. But read this story. I'll link to this as far as just how he goes above and beyond to give these two just an experience they'll never forget. And the only thing that Kyle did even better than all of his content over the past week, which was many, many videos, was actually just a person. He was even a better person than his content, which is cool. So I'm an immediate big fan of Kyle from Out of Spec. And I actually remember he gave one of my favorite reviews after, he test drove one at one of the events, right?
Don't quote me.
Posted a video of just doing a test drive event, like out in Denver. I think he did an event, or did he get?
I think he may have even been out at one of the California events.
It was the California one. Yeah, that's the first time I discovered him. But just a wealth of info, and he's just done a lot of great videos, and seems like an even better guy is what I'm trying to say. Do you guys have anything that you want to say is like a top takeaway from any of his content that he's released this past week?
Yeah, so let me start off talking about him because I'm a huge fan of his and have been actually for quite a while now. I kind of feel like he's a kindred spirit. He's another nerd. He does things scientifically. He's very analytical in the way that he approaches things. And he really likes to drive stuff. He likes to rip. So I'll use that as a segue. One of the coolest videos that I took a lot away from was his driving performance, where he talked about using the different modes in different scenarios, different types of driving, and that was very cool. But all of his stuff is good. He's done towing, he's done range testing, he's done charging, he's done so much quality content. But I'm with you. I think he's a great content creator, but it sounds like he's also an awesome person, which, is evidenced by, the experience that he gave to John and Miguel, which is just above and beyond. That's incredible. So good job. Great job, Kyle. The only thing is you could have a cooler name.
I got confused at the beginning when I first saw this. I'm like, whoa, I'm awesome. Oh no, it's different Kyle.
You knew better.
Jimmy, did you have like anything new, any kind of takeaway from any of the videos that you watched?
No, not really. I mean, it's just it's a lot of content to get through, and it is. And there's still. I mean, I've been driving EVs for almost 3 years now, and he touches stuff that I wouldn't even know what to do with. The numbers are cool.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you my big. My big takeaway. Those of you who are towing, wind resistance makes way more of an impact on range than does weight, and we knew that, but it's substantially more. Oh, yeah. So that's one quick thing. But the second thing to me is overall impression, which he hinted at the beginning, and then as the week went on and as videos came on, as live streams kept going, he kept saying more and more and more, was that this vehicle is awesome and I want one. And at one point he even said, I review all these, and it's usually like great at the beginning, but 2 or 3 days in, there's a long list of things, and it's kind of old, and not old to him, like he's kind of over it. And he's found like a lot of things that he would love to be improved or different. This one, of course, he found some stuff, but his expectations just kept not only getting met, but exceeded. And you could tell he was very impressed, even after a lot of time with it. And to me, to a guy of his depth of knowledge, and I mean, he does this very well full time, to impress him is saying a lot. And so I know that I'll be blown away. And great job, Rivian. Yeah. And so thanks to Kyle for all that content. And I'm just going to put it out there for everyone. We need to get this guy on. We need this guy to be like a once a month guest, for sure. So if you're watching this, Kyle, like we'll reach out and we'd love to get you on sometime. I know that like our backers, it could even be cool to have like a live chat if Kyle would come on with like our 100 people, and we could all kind of pelt him with questions. I think would be super fun. And he's obviously really good off the cuff,
This is kind of a call to arms, however you word it, for those who have a truck already. There are a ton of Earth Day EV drive events going on the month of April all around the nation. For instance, Nikki and I are going to be at the one in Jacksonville on April 16th. From 12 to 4. It's over at the Jags Stadium, TIAA, I think is the name of it now. I don't know. They change the name every couple of years. But anyways, I would beseech those truck owners to show up and participate and show off your truck. We are registered to participate and actually have the truck as a vehicle to be not just sitting in the parking lot, but actually like in the event. And we are currently the only R1T in Jacksonville that will be at the event and displayed. So if you're in the greater Northeast Florida area or Southeast Georgia area and you want to come down, we will be at the Jag Stadium April 16th from 12 to 4.
Nice.
Yeah, and there are similar events going on all over the country. So
right, man. Yeah, pretty much the whole month, every weekend in the month of April is going to be an EV drive event type car show going on. I think as of when I looked at it yesterday, there was almost 250 EVs registered for our event in Jacksonville. So pretty good turnout.
Yeah, that is good. Dang. Sweet. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This is to be continued, so please do subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the meantime, please do join us over at rivianstories.com. This really is a phenomenal community. It's the community for true Rivian fans and owners. You'll find a ton of great interaction and information, and you can even pick yourself up a t-shirt or sweatshirt. Thanks.